Alright guys, I'm just going to take you guys on a little quick tour of the yard here, what all we do here, and show you some of the products we carry for our landscape supply, as well as our landscape business that we run off this property, and then the firewood as well. I'm just going to kind of show you guys around. I know I haven't done that yet, so yeah, just come along and see what we got here. So different products that we stock. Let's see, we've got a couple different dyed mulches. We got brown mulch, black mulch right there. One thing I definitely want to carry is a natural mulch, something for playgrounds, probably a red dyed mulch eventually as well. And then we've got some blackened topsoil, top dressing, which is a mixture of soil and sand. And then we've got masonry sand, screen topsoil, screen fill dirt, which everything's just been rained on, so it looks a little bit muddy at the moment. We got 89, which that bin is almost completely empty. We're trying to move that bin over near our other granite, crushed granite material. So the 89 is like a 3/8 inch clean stone. It's great for prepping for patio bases, retaining wall bases, things like that, just to do the screed top layer, to give you something you can kind of work with on the top layer, versus it's kind of a substitute for an M10 or a granite sand. And then we've got our extra large river rock. Then we've got large river rocks. Our extra large is a 4 to 8 inch, which is great for dry creek beds, and, drainage solutions and things like that. Also, the large river rock could be used for the same purpose if you were doing it in an area where it didn't have quite as much water flowing through. It's a 2 to 5 inch rock. So then we've got our medium river rock, which is about a 3/4 to 1.5 inch size, somewhere in that range. Good for landscape beds and things like that, decorative rocks. So and then we've got our small river rock, which is also more commonly known as pea gravel. And then a mini slate chip. Love this stuff for like around fire pits or doing walkways. You could even set some flagstone in with it, and just have this kind of through the in between the gaps to fill the gaps in. Then we've got a little bit larger. It's a medium slate chip. This stuff is, again, really great for pathways and around fire pits, things like that. Anywhere that you're walking, I would recommend this definitely over like a pea gravel, because it's going to stay under your feet, because it's an angular stone, so it doesn't move out from under your feet like a pea gravel would. I know a lot of people think of pea gravel when they think of pathways. But then we've got screened asphalt millings. Great for a lot of people around here have that around driveways and things like that. Compacts really well, stays put really good. So then we've got a pine bark mini nugget. We kind of change out between mini and just regular nuggets in that bin. And then here's our M10, and again, this is where we want to move our 89, is right over here into this area, along with all the other granite materials that we have right here. We just haven't got the blocks to do it at the moment, but we've got our M10 right there, so that can be used. The 89 or M10 can kind of be used for the same purpose, for the screed top layer, for patio or pathway or retaining wall prep. And then we got crush and run, which is your fines all the way up to your 57 type size stones. So that stuff compacts really tight. And then you've got your 57 stone here, which is it's a clean rock. It's a really good product for using for patio prep, on your base layer underneath your M10 or your 89. So that's what we use on all of our jobs. And then we can also bag any material. I know this is in a Site 1 bag right here. We do have our own bags that are not that do not have any logo on them, but this is just a bag that we had from them. We bagged up some 89 that's going out on a job tomorrow. So, and then right here we've got a few baskets of firewood. This stuff is actually cut at 24 inch lengths. So we don't have a lot of stock of that at the moment. Just, I don't know, what do we have there, 20 baskets or so. But that stuff is, you know, it's super long for those people. We deliver to a lot of people that have large fireplaces, whether it be outdoor fireplace or indoor, and they like to get the longer wood. So we got then we have a bunch of extra products here that are just kind of left over from jobs that we offer to anyone that wants it, as well as it's just kind of our boneyard here that we work from. If we need any little extra bit of material on a job, we'll take it from right here. So we've got another area where we stage a good bit over around on the back side of the shop too. So, and then right here is where we have all of our customer pickup wood. So this is where all of our resplits come. So that's why you see the log splitter here. We'll put our resplits into a dump trailer and bring them over here, and then we'll have someone over here splitting whenever we have any spare time. So, and this holds, I mean, a good bit of wood. I don't know exactly how much, but it's pretty good size here. So I'll show you around. That's a 32-foot conveyor, just to give you an idea. And we've got this built right. We made a video on this thing a long time ago when this thing was brand new, and we elevated it. We made our own little stand here for it. We just move it around with a skid steer whenever we need to move it, but it does have a log lift on it. We never purchased this thing with the intent to ever use a log lift for a log lift purpose. We just use it as kind of an extra little table extension there to help us stage a resplit or two. But like I say, what we'll do is we'll back the dump trailer up over here on this far side of the splitter, and just tilt it back, and then just work out of that, and then all that wood just gets piled up here. And this is all oak, and this, like I said, this is where customers come. We'll have customers drive up right here, park in this area, and then we'll load them out. It gets busy here depending on the weather. So if we have some really cold days or expecting snow or ice, we've had as many as 20 trucks lined up going back that way. So and then we've got a couple rows of IBC totes right here filled with, most of these are hickory, and then we have a few that are filled with pine right here towards the end, just for campfire wood and stuff. But yeah, it comes all the way back around this way, and we just pile it as high as we possibly can. We've got, you know, 3 Mafia blocks high right there, so that's 7.5-foot wall, retaining wall, and it's all on concrete. So it's concrete slab underneath all that wood, and then the concrete slab pretty much ends right here where these IBC totes are, and that's why we've got that barricade right there to help retain that right there. So yeah, you can kind of see it right here. I don't know how much wood, maybe 100 cords or so. But, and then this is where the majority of our IBC totes are, and a good bit of the front of this right here is all hickory, and the hickory goes all the way. Okay, it stops. Let's see. Yep, it stops on this row right here. That's where the hickory stops, and then oak starts right here. So that's oak right there. So then we've got oak running all the way, and I will say these IBCs are the way to dry wood. It definitely takes a little bit of time to put a little extra time to put the wood in it, move them where you need them, but it is nice. It dries it so much faster and just so much cleaner off the ground. Makes for a really good product, which is definitely what we focus on. We try to make a good end product for the consumer. So try to make good size splits, nothing too big, anything that can be handled just with one hand. That's pretty much how we like to split the wood. Everything in these baskets is cut to 16-inch length, so that's what we do, the majority of our wood. We just have a little bit that we do bigger or special requests and stuff like that. So we got a little roadside stand out here. We are on a major highway. You may hear the traffic behind me. We do have, this is a private road right here coming into the property. But we are on a major highway right here, a 4-lane, well no, 2-lane, I'm sorry, it will be 4-lane before too much longer. But and the only thing we have currently in here, I mean, it's kind of off season for us. We don't really have that big rush of, in the area we are here in Georgia, we don't have a big rush of people that want to get bagged wood for campfire season and things like that. It just gets too hot too quick. So but what we have in there is kiln dried oak in the bags. So we keep a little bit in there all the time. We do sell a little bit occasionally, even this time of year. But I would say, if I had to give a rough estimate on how many cages this is right here, it's probably about 1,200-ish, somewhere in there. I'll kind of give you a little view of what it looks like here, approaching the property from the road too. Yeah, so definitely need to cut the grass. Yeah, we had a local guy that I found on Facebook Marketplace helped us build this. He did a great job. We did have some composite deck boards that were just reclaimed off of a job site. The customer let us haul them off, and we use that for the decking. But other than that, it's just all pressure treated pine. And but he did a great job. Did it quick, and we did pour those piers for it to set in right there into the dry creek bed. There's a good bit of water that comes through right here, so we had to maintain that swell underneath there, but it works out good. So I do feel like we've had some theft from that stand. It's hard for me to say. I haven't kept up with it just absolutely dollar for dollar, but I've got too many different methods of payment to even make it worth my time trying to figure it out. But I definitely know we've had some theft. You know, for instance, someone leaves you $10 and we have nothing that costs $10, and nothing that would cost $10 if you got 2 of them. You know, it's $7 a bag, or 4 for $25. So really doesn't make any sense. So, stuff like that. And we can pay by Cash App, Venmo. So, you know, between all those methods of payment, it's kind of tough to keep up with sometimes. But. And we got a little bit of small slag right here. Probably a lot of y'all don't know really what this is, but it's a byproduct of melting steel. So when they melt the steel down, they end up with something that looks just like rock. It looks just like crush and run pretty much, and packs super tight, and over time, I mean, it turns into almost concrete. So this is where we burn a bunch of debris whenever we, you know, from processing or landscape projects, things like that. So got a little bit of wood right here, and then this is what these are all of our end cuts, which we do end up making into a product that we sell. We sell it as what we call stove wood. So that was in a bin that's over here that I didn't really explain. But this bin over here has what we call stove wood in it. And so we will split that, you know, once we get a good bit of it worked up, we'll put that into a dump trailer and do the same process as we do with our standard length wood. And we'll split that into here, and it's just for whoever wants to, I mean, save a few bucks buying some firewood, really. So it's a great product. We don't separate species. We'll do it. It'll either be all oak, or I mean, it'll either be oak, hickory, or cherry. That's what goes in here. And it's a really good product if you whether you have a small fire pit, small wood stove, or fireplace that can't take full length wood, or if you just, like I said, if you just want to save a few bucks and have an outdoor fire. We like to have something for everybody. So you can see right there how he's dumping the debris out of our catch bin. We've been getting a ton of rain here, so that thing had about 6 inches of water in the bottom of it. Yeah, this is what comes through our disc cleaner. Stuff like this. Yeah, so it definitely doesn't get everything in one pass. We've got the Easton made 10-foot disc cleaner, but it gets a lot. I think I ran 5 live decks this morning, and this is what was in it. So it's, definitely helps a lot. So we find that when if you're piling up wood, the cleaner you can keep it, it doesn't mold. If you have all that debris in there, it definitely, so I mean, in my opinion, if you have a processor, you've got to have some sort of cleaning, some way of cleaning it. Whether it be, I recommend cleaning it twice. Really, that's how you get your best product. If you clean it right as you're processing, and then clean it one more time before you deliver it. But yeah, and then this is, I know I've gone over this with you a little bit, but this is where our resplits go, is into a trailer just like this, and then that trailer gets moved over to that area to get resplit. So, and I know I haven't gone over we have a little bit of mixed hardwoods. That top one there is cherry, that bottom one's oak, but a little bit of mixed hardwoods right here, and then the majority of this is hickory. So that's a decent little bit of hickory right there. And we've got some restaurants that we supply with hickory, and trying to get more and more restaurants. So that's my goal, is to make this firewood. This has really just been a seasonal thing for us. That's why we've always done landscaping. We've kind of paired the two together and done one or the other in the off season of the other. So landscaping through the spring and summer, and then fall and winter is when we focus on firewood sales. That is, we always do make the wood a little bit here and there all year long. But yeah, this is what I just made this morning. We just recently moved this shelter over here, which has been really nice. It's nice to work under the shelter. You kind of don't have to worry as much about rain. I know you're in a cab, but if you get rained on, if it's raining and you're in that cab, the sawdust ends up sticking to all your windows, and you can't see anything. So it doesn't matter. I mean, if it's raining, you can't run unless you're under cover. And so this definitely helps with that. And I just want longevity of the machine and everything. It should help. So yeah. And then we've just got the Mafia blocks here to manage all of our sawdust. Sawdust comes out here, and we just push it up there, and then end up bringing it out into the yard out there. So yep. And this Blockbuster conveyor has been just amazing. We've had this since the Mid-South Firewood Expo right there in Tennessee, the first ever Mid-South Firewood Expo. I guess it was maybe it was the end of March. I think it was the end of March. of 2026. And we picked this up there. We had Blockbuster bring it with them. We pre-ordered it, and it's a 40-foot elevator. And I mean, I don't know that the camera really does it justice at how you know, well built it is and how beefy it's built. You know, that everything from the tires are, you know, it's huge, and it is it does have the radial stacking, so you can pivot these tires. We will probably never use it like that, but the 2 cylinders are, you know, they're monsters. I mean, nice size cylinders. Everything about it's just super well built. And this thing just runs. It's running off the processor, so it's in line with the attached conveyor that we put on here. It's in line with that, so, and it just creeps along. I mean, it has so much power, you don't have to run it, you know, at high speed at all. It just kind of just creeps along, and just, yeah, when I'm running this thing in decent wood, it'll completely fill the conveyor, you know. And it just has a solid wood in it, and that's, you know, I mean, but it handles it just no problem. So that's been nice. We used to have a Timberwolf belted conveyor, 32-foot belted conveyor here, and it did well. It did well for a while, and then it just got to the point where it just couldn't keep up. And what it was, I'm not real sure. We just decided, let's just move on to something different. So I think it was the hydraulic motor at the top was the weak point, to be honest. It also just had a small Honda engine on it. It wasn't in line with the processor, so that could have something to do with it as well. But yeah, we've got the Prentice 210 log loader, you know, knuckle boom there. So that's what we unload any of our logs with. And then we'll just stage them out right here. This is primarily oak from that we've got right here right now, and then I've got a good bit of hickory sorted out over there. Yeah, it looks like all of this is oak. So just trying to run through the rest of this before I get any more in here. I want to run through that and run through a good bit of this hickory. So but yeah, here's the other view of the baskets that we have lined up right here, and this is right on the outside of our retention pond, and you'll see right there it's 3 baskets wide on that right there where it starts. But then as it gets over here around the corner, you know, over in this area, it gets to be, you know, 5 to 6 wide, and it's that way all the way out over there. So it's a good bit of baskets. And this is where we throw some of our end cuts that are kind of too heavy to manage by hand, and throw into the IBC totes. So we'll I've got an inverted skid steer splitter, and I separate species. So I've got our oak right there, and I've got some hickory right here. But yeah, one day I'll come over here and bust these into a dump trailer, and we'll resplit these over there as well. Some of these are full length, some of them are shorter, so that'll get separated as it's as I split it into the trailer. So, and this is what that small slag looks like that I was talking about earlier. This stuff is just amazing, and I mean the price of it in comparison to like a crusher run, at least here, crusher run is, I mean, don't quote me on this, but it's around, I mean, I know we get loads of it, it's around 900 a load or so for a tandem load, 18 tons. And then you can get this stuff for like 350 a load. So it just kind of is a no-brainer, you know. And then this larger stuff is called medium slag. So it's great to just put as a base, and we still need to put more small slag over top of this. I need to get another tandem or 2 out here just to smooth all this up, so we don't have all these ruts in here, but kind of smooth this over and then go over it with another thin layer. But all of this from here on out, where all these baskets are stored, has slag underneath it, small slag. It's got the large or the medium slag then topped with small slag. So yeah, it's been a good area to put these baskets. So we stockpile a bunch of pallets and things like that we take off job sites and reuse here. So sod pallets right there. Those we end up selling back to the sod farm. We pay a deposit on those, and they'll refund the deposit if you return them. So $10 a piece. A few walnut logs. I don't know. I was saving them for someone I know that does woodworking. We got some cherry right here. Cherry in our area is tough to come by. I wish I could get more of it, just for all those people that like to cook with it. And then we've got some massive oaks right here. I'm gonna have to, these are a little bit too big to run through the processor. I swear it's tough to tell on camera how big something like this is, but here we are. I mean, that's me standing next to it. So very large. I don't know, probably 30 inch or so at least, I'd say, on that one. Those we'll just have to saw cut those and then use the inverted skid steer splitter to break them down. So, and then this is what we make all of that 24-inch wood out of. Anything that's real small, that's just not worth the time to run through the processor, we'll cut it. I cut it to length on the processor, but splitting anything over about 18 to 20 inches is just a kind of a headache on the processor because it doesn't fall in there correctly. So we just we cut it to length, and I remove the wedge. I'll show you that one day. I made a little, basically, deflector that goes in place of the wedge, and I just send them straight up the conveyor. And then the 24-inch wood is definitely our most labor-intensive product, but people like it, pay a premium, so we do okay on it, I think. Yeah, here's some more of that hickory here. So then we've just got some mixed hardwoods right here that we would rather not have, but we get them on occasion, and then we end up just busting them up and putting them in, you know, mixed hardwood baskets, and anyone that's wanting to save a few bucks, that's one way to do it. Here's our Kiln Direct baskets. We've got a Kiln Direct Mini Quick kiln, and that's where it is in relation to our processing operation. So just to give you an idea, this building here is 75 feet long. So the kiln is right over there. So that's kind of a little quick tour of the majority of the yard here. I've got a few other things I could show you one other day, but for now I think I'm going to go ahead and run some wood. And I'm going to video that as well.